Candida, it's really, sorry, just a second. Yeah, it was a fascinating, just mute. It was a fascinating presentation.
I think Prem will have to mute as well.
No, so I've said it was a fascinating presentation, and I think we feel exhausted just looking at your journey over all these countries, all these kilometers. So just to start off in terms of the question and answers, and I invite the rest of you who are watching today to please feel free to type in your questions on the chat box, and I'll make sure that we request Candida to answer that. Candida, I'm going to start by asking you, when did you first ride a bike, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I started riding a motorcycle very, very young because my dad and me used to go from Hubli to Goa, which was like 200 kilometers. Like when I was, say, like 9 or 10, and then when I was 13 is when my dad said, I think it's time for you to take me. And yeah, I started off pretty young, but just in Hubli city. And then when I got my license and when I was 18 was when I actually started riding all my friends' bikes. And when I was 21, my dad gifted me a motorcycle for my birthday. So that's how I got into riding motorcycles.
Lovely. This journey that you just shared with us, some parts of it were solo and some were group, or did you have some company most of the time at least, or did you have some parts that you did all by yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, I set off on this trip as a only girl riding a bike, but I never felt like I was alone because everywhere I went, I made new friends. I met a lot of people, and with this social media following comes a lot of responsibility. So like every place that I went to, like most of the places that I went to, there were already people waiting on the highways for me. And like even though I never even informed them that I was passing by on that day, they just waited, so I've never experienced something like this before, but uh, that's when you realize that people are like so very supportive and just want to like encourage you to do well and stuff. So it was really a crazy experience. But again, the motorcycle industry is the motorcycle community is very close knit all around the world. So if someone knows that you're doing like a world ride or and stuff, they always make sure to meet you along the way. So yeah, in most of the places I did meet a lot of motorcycle clubs. They did ride with me for breakfast or showed me around their favorite spots around the city and stuff like that. So most of the days I did have company. I also met a couple of world riders as well that were riding from Germany, one couple that was riding from England. So yeah, so I left alone, but I can tell you that I've made more than like 10,000 friends along the way. So,
oh my God, that's beautiful. So this week, earlier this week was International Gratitude Day, and we've been making a big celebration of it at the Rtambhara Wellness, and we've been talking about things that we're grateful for, incidents that have touched us, that we're feeling a lot of gratitude. And I think through your presentation, we all felt that there was a lot of gratitude. I mean, whether it was for people who served you a hot meal or people who helped you, I mean, who just send in, I mean, God who sent you showers to clean your bike better, or getting a magic bike. But if I had to ask you, say 3 people or things or anything that you are truly grateful for being the person that you are today, anything, I mean, it could be things, it could be incidents, it could be people, I mean, anything at all that you would feel that you would like to express your gratitude for, we'd love to know.
Okay. Can you just give me like a second? I'm just getting an important call. Just a minute. I'm just going to answer and get back. So
Sure.
sorry.
No problem at all. Meanwhile, I'm just going to quickly say that if any of you all who are here today joining us as part of the audience would like to ask her some questions, Candida is, of course, as all of us know, world famous. We'd love to have her answer any of your questions. So please do pen in your questions in the chat box, and we'll make sure that once she's back, she will answer all your questions as well. I would like to also, just to make this interesting for all of us, are any of you all avid bikers, or do you all ride a bike? We'd love to hear other stories from the audience as well. I know Mahesh is a biker. Prema, are you a biker as well?
Yes, I have done. I've gone from Bangalore to Goa on a bike and back.
Wow, that's fabulous. Very, very nice.
2012, I went from Rishikesh to Badrinath and back on a bike.
Oh my God. Wow. Very, very. Anybody else? I know Mahesh is a biker as well. Mahesh, would you like to share?
Well, in my case, actually, like, Canada is my friend, so we kind of work together and we ride together. So I kind of started riding my bike while it was in 2011. And it was just a basic bike, which is a CT 100cc bike. After I got into my job, then I upgraded my bike, and my longest, bike ride was from Chennai to the northeast, which spanned across 27 days and 6,500 kilometers. After that, I made a career in traveling itself as such, into biking and stuff. I got, a chance to travel to a lot of other states, be it personally or for some projects. Then that's what I do. And that is my little story about biking. So yeah, I still continue riding a lot. Whenever I travel, I travel mostly by bike, be it from my home in Coimbatore to Bangalore or any other place, because I prefer traveling by bike.
Lovely.
So yeah,
So
on a
nice.
monthly basis, I travel like 5,000-6,000 kilometers sometimes by bike. All put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And Candida is back. So Candida, we were just asking people from the audience to share their biking stories, and we heard some fascinating ones from Prem and Mahesh, who are both saying that they've taken law. I mean, they're also passionate bikers, and it's lovely to see that sometimes even the stories that you say, in some way, it kind of touches or brings back memories. I have a personal story too. So I had parents who were very scared to let me bike. So I'm going to make sure that they see this recording. But I went to college, I started biking, and we used to travel every weekend. So I studied in Bhubaneswar, and we'd travel every weekend to see the sunrise at Konark and things like that. And I used to ride a bike at that point of time. But of course, it was just a Yamaha, but still, lots of fun memories around that. So Candida, coming back to questions about your journey too. So we were asking about your gratitude stories. So we'd love to hear your gratitude stories.
Yeah, so every day on the road, I was grateful for a lot of things. Grateful every day to find a place to stay, because the entire journey wasn't planned at all. I just knew I had to pass by 10 countries. I did not know which places I'm going to pass by, or where I'm going to be staying, or who I'm going to meet. So yeah, every night I felt very grateful about like finding a place, a safe place to stay. Plus, yeah, grateful every day for my motorcycle, and for never giving up on me, like even though I put it through a lot. Um, like the other bikers that I met on the way, every day would like take really good care of their motorcycle and service it and clean it and all of that. But I put mine through a lot of hardship, because like I would reach a place and I would start exploring around that place, and I wouldn't spend time in like cleaning it and servicing it and all. So I'm really glad that it did not break down, and I only had like one puncture and yeah, a couple of minor issues that wasn't very hard for me to fix. So yeah, grateful for that as well, and also grateful for very supportive parents and family that kept praying for me and always letting me do what I love doing. Yeah.
That's lovely. Very, very, very nicely put. And I liked how I said I mean, either it could be an experience or it could be a thing or it could be this. And you literally put one experience, one set of people, your parents, of course, and one thing. And I think the positivity that comes from all that gratitude is very, very apparent in your talk. I think Manjeet has also mentioned in the comment section that she's only been a pillion rider, but she's enjoyed lots of fun rides as well. Krishna Paniji, if you're here, you could unmute and ask your question. Are you?
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you, Divya.
Yes.
I am really so glad to be participating in this program, and I profusely congratulate Candida for the great adventure, which for most of us would only be a dream, and maybe it's so difficult to venture. I was thinking about you told us the most important points of your travel or this particular journey from Bangalore to Sydney. I was thinking that it could have been a very expensive thing. And more importantly, I wanted to know if you had any issues related to health and food during these 8 months. Was there an occasion when you were not well or we had fallen sick? And if somebody had some diet restrictions, would it be helpful for them to undertake such a journey?
Okay. Hi, thank you for your question. It's a it's a big one. So I'll give you an example. When I did my 7-month ride across India in 2015, I rode for 32,000 kilometers, and all that 7 months that I was riding, I ate from the smallest of the dabas to some of the most dirtiest places, and thankfully I never got sick. But the moment I came back home after the 7 months and I stayed in one place for more than 3 days, that's when I felt terribly sick when I went back to work after the 7 months. So I think it's all in the head, especially when you're doing such a big ride. There's so much of adrenaline, and there's so much more to look forward to than just food and stuff. So I think that's what keeps a person healthy when they are traveling. Again, the same way on the India to Australia, right? Thankfully, I never fell sick health-wise, other than when I broke my wrist. But again, with a broken wrist, I continued riding and I never stopped. So that's what I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, it's a very different experience. Like there's so much to look forward to and so much of happiness that you don't really feel the pain, is what I can say. And to your other question, when again back to 2015, when I quit my job and I was doing the India trip, I did not plan on doing all across India. I told my mother I have 20,000 rupees in my account, and when that 20,000 rupees runs out, I'm going to come back home. And luckily, that 20,000 rupees lasted me for 7 months. So it's all in the head. There's so much opportunities along the way that you just figure things out. Like with this new technology, you can make money on the go. There's so many freelance opportunities online that you can continue working and riding and never have to like come back home sometimes. So yeah, again, I have never sat down and calculated how much I spent on the Australia trip. It was definitely a very expensive trip, but I never want to break my head and count how much I spent for it, because I don't want to lose out on what all I've experienced by calculating how much I spent for it. But again, yeah, uh, I did multiple things along the way. Like I said, I was constantly working. Every ride that I do now is part of social media, so that pays for things as well. I was teaching along the way. I was working with multiple organizations, um, doing a lot of surveys for them. I was modeling. I was yeah, multiple things along the way. So yeah, money is never an issue actually when you start doing the things you love, and opportunities come after you instead of you running after opportunities. I hope I answered your question. And
So the
now
only, the only
about
question,
being vegetarian,
yeah,
yeah, there's a, like most of the countries that I've passed by, their staple food is rice. And even though mostly all these countries are non-vegetarian, you can always, so what I basically do is always carry a bottle of pickle and some pudis. So even if I don't find like food that I like, especially when I stayed in Cambodia for the longest time, and all the villagers were like eating crazy things like uh, maggots and crickets and stuff like that. I really didn't want to have such kind of food. So that's when I would take a little bit of rice and always mix it with pudi and pickle. And you don't really have to carry it all the way from India, because you find multiple Indian restaurants in all the countries. So you can always stock up on new pickle and pudi wherever you go. So that is just a suggestion. And then, yeah, there's a lot of fruits all across in all different countries. So if you're vegetarian, I think it's a nice choice to have like fruits for breakfast and dinner, and just have like one heavy meal for lunch. And that should be it, I guess. So yeah, lots of vegetarians all around. So that shouldn't be a problem.
So nice. Thanks, but thank you so much.
thank you so much.
In fact, today I see, sorry, did anybody else have a question? Thank you so much, Krishnapani ji. He's one of the senior most members of the Rtambhara family, and we're very happy that he could join us. I also see a lot of our speakers from other sessions who've joined us today. Manjeet, of course, last week gave us a great demonstration of how Reiki can be used for better wellness. And today, I think what Candida's talked about has inspired a lot of us. And I'd like to just thank you for taking the time out for doing this with us. I'd like to thank all the participants for supporting us, for all of Rtambhara's initiatives, and for joining us today. Thanks, Mahesh, especially for facilitating this. He was the one who said that this is a very, very special friend, and we've been, I think, chasing Candida for almost the last 2-3 months, and we're lucky to have finally got her on her platform. And I especially think the timing was just perfect, because there was so much of gratitude in everything you said. And it's just come properly on the International Gratitude Week. Thank you to Prem and to Rashmi for doing all the back-end work that comes before each and every Rtambhara program that comes out to all of y'all. To the participants, I'd like to say that Rtambhara Wellness is bringing fabulous programs and fabulous sessions. If any of y'all would like to be added to the mailing list, please do message your contact details on the chat box, and Rashmi will add you to the mailing list and to the contact and to the WhatsApp groups. Please do follow us on our social media handles. For any other information, we will make wellness. We do make wellness a priority. We will, and for both mind, body, and soul. And if there is any way that we can work or partner with your organizations, please do reach out to us. Thank you again, Candida, for the fabulous discussion today and for clarifying all our doubts at the end. I think that part was especially good. And the photographs around the world were mind-boggling, to say the least. So thank you all so much. And until next time, namaste from the entire team at Rtambhara Wellness.
Thank you so much. So happy to be a part of this call. And how do I get the link for the last week's session?
I will be sharing it to you, Candida, if you want to. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Candida. Bye-bye.
Yeah.